Make sure you don't miss a thing. Go to starzology.com/newsletter and sign up. Welcome to the Starzology Astrology Podcast. I'm your host, Alison Price, and I'm here with my good friend and co-host, Arwynne O'Neill.
Hello, Alison. It's great to be here.
So nice to have you once more. So in this episode, we're going to be continuing on our little series that we're doing on planetary aspects.
Yeah.
And this time we're going to be doing Saturn.
Yes.
So, Saturn is one of the visible planets. It rules Capricorn and Aquarius. And you can, if you're doing interpretations, you're going to want to look at Saturn.
Absolutely. It is a beautiful gas giant with gorgeous rings.
Yes.
If you have not seen the Cassini's space probe photos that were taken about, 10 years ago or so?
I don't know.
Oh, some of the most gorgeous pictures you've ever seen.
Wow.
If you didn't think Saturn was beautiful, just look up Cassini photos.
And it's the planet they use on the emoji, isn't it? For a planet, you've got Saturn.
Exactly.
So that's a good thing.
Think of a planet, it's the one. Yeah.
So let's just have a bit of a chat about Saturn themes in general.
Yeah.
So I do think that Saturn has to do with, it's your restrictions, limitations, and it's self-imposed limitations that you put on yourself.
Yeah.
And places where you say, I can't do that. And you say, no, that's not for me, or we don't do that, or something.
So it's responsibility, but also restriction and discipline in a positive sense. It's what makes you commit to something, whether it's tradition or authority or your own personal feelings of your moral code, basically the moral compass, but more in a like the super ego, as Freud would say. So the id is like your the baser instincts, and then the ego is what you want as a person, like your driving force, that kind of like the sun. And then Saturn is the superego. It's the what society wants you to do, what your parents want you to do, what you're supposed to do. Exactly. Yeah. And it's also boundaries and limitations, I think, largely because it was the farthest visible planet in the solar system back in the day when astrology was conceived. Yeah. And they didn't know about Uranus and Pluto and Neptune.
It was the limit of the solar system.
It was the limit. Yeah. It was the farthest, farthest visible planet. So it represents the government. It represents authority figures. It represents your parents, your teachers, your bosses, your government. Bosses, your bosses, exactly. And it represents that inner boss as well. The boss that tells you, you need to, brush up your resume. You need to do your assignment before you go off and, go to the party. You need to do your homework. You need to do your taxes, whatever.
Be responsible. Man up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's stop blaming everybody else for what your failings.
Yeah, don't procrastinate. Put on a sweater. that kind of thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that kind of planet that, in a way, it's the rules we live by in society are what kind of maintains the law, basically, of chaos, that you don't just steal somebody's stuff.
Yeah.
Those are the laws and that, and you have to abide by them. Most people do. And they're brought in to contain and make sure that we're all being responsible. Yeah.
The like the tragedy of the commons, the thing where if everybody has a shared space and they all trash it and act like it's their own backyard, and they, just kind of throw their litter everywhere and, use up all the resources and don't leave anything for anyone else, it would be chaos. And Saturn is what prevents that from happening, energetically speaking. It is what makes us go, okay, well, I'll just take what I need. And, and maybe we should have a rule about how much we can,
take.
Yeah. And back in the day, this was something, it was very important for planting crops and storing grain and, the things that were very important, for governments in a very small community, and then growing to a larger community. It's like, okay, well, we need a teacher, we need a judge, we need these kinds of just very rudimentary lawmakers and law enforcers. The sheriff, yeah, exactly. Every time someone says sheriff, I just think of like law, not Law and Order. Well, yeah, Law and Order, but Walking Dead for some reason still. Sheriff. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. So it's that planet that I don't like. It's not a fun planet.
Nope.
But we've all got one, and you kind of need to pay attention to it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny though. There is, and I think I can't remember if it was Stephen Forrest, probably Stephen Forrest, who talked about this, but also a few other OG astrologers, that there is a sort of a trickster aspect to Saturn, because there's Saturnalia, right? Which was the festival of, I'm going to butcher this because I don't have it right in front of me, but I believe it was
the Romans, right?
Yeah, the Roman festival where all the roles were reversed for one day, and all the slaves could order their masters around, and this is one day where you could kind of switcheroo the rules of authority. Yeah. So there is that weird kind of I mean, it's a goat, right? Like the representative of Saturn, and Capricorn is a goat with a fishtail. Like that's bizarre. Like there is a weird, quirky, bizarre
combination
sort of thing to Saturn. That's not just very serious and dour. There is some weirdness to it.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you can't poke fun at authority, then you're probably not doing it right. I mean.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
So Saturnalia tends to happen in Capricorn time, right?
Yeah.
It's December 21st-ish, I believe.
Yeah. Around the winter.
Right
solstice.
there.
Yeah.
In the winter. So, yeah.
Yeah. So that's Saturn.
That's Saturn. So if we talk about if we consider some of Saturn's aspects. So what you're going to do is you're going to look at your natal chart. You're going to find Saturn and see, does my Saturn have any aspects? And today we're really only going to talk about the 5 Ptolemaic aspects because life's too short.
Yeah. To go into the sesquiquadrate.
Right? All those other things.
Yeah.
That's the topic for another day. But certainly, so we're looking at these 5 Ptolemaic aspects, and we're just going to go through those and get a bit of a feeling for what, if you have these Saturn aspects, what it means. Now, you wouldn't necessarily have these Saturn aspects. Not everybody has aspects of Saturn, but you would likely have one or two.
Yeah.
And you and I do. So, we can chat about those a bit.
Absolutely.
So then first up.
So Sun, Saturn.
Right.
Regardless of whether it's a conjunction, square, opposition, whatever, this is Saturn impacting your ego. So the Saturn force of restriction and that externalized sense of authority, that superego is going to be right there with your actual ego. So your internalized sense of discipline and responsibility will be a big part of your personality.
Yeah.
And depending on if it's a soft aspect or a hard aspect, that will either be a comfortable thing for you, and you may be a natural leader. You may be naturally the
head honcho,
the bossy pants in the family.
The bossy pants.
Yeah, the one who just naturally is put in charge. The teacher leaves the room for a minute and says, "You are you watch the class and make sure nothing fishy goes down." Yeah, exactly. And if you find that amazing and empowering, and you're like, "Oh, yay, cool, awesome," that is maybe a good aspect, or maybe the conjunction, and it's just like part of your nature. And if you get scared and have anxiety about that and imposter syndrome, then maybe you've got the square or the opposition, and you're like, why are people always putting me in charge?
Yes.
I can't handle it.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's maybe more than you can, chew or what have you.
That's a powerful combination.
For sure. So if it is a square or the opposition, this is frequently something to do with how you grew up, and your societal expectations or your parental expectations were often either too much for you, or you were constantly clashing with authority figures possibly, and your personal desires clashed with the expectations that people had of you, or you were forced to take on responsibility at a very early age and had to struggle and really, figure out what that meant for you. It's still a powerful position, even if it is the opposition or the square. It might not ever be comfortable for you, but it is a powerful position, and you will probably be able to wield power later in life, especially after that first Saturn return.
Yes.
At in your 30s at least, probably not younger if it's a hard aspect, and achieving goals will always feel like a struggle. But it'll still be a very important part of your personality if it's a
and I think
aspect.
two people will look to you for leadership in a way, because you're like the level-headed person.
Yeah.
This is not the
flaky. Even if you don't feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is not the crazy, flaky person at all. It's and
if it's a square, or especially a square, but even an opposition, you may be the person who is always standing up to authority, or is put in a position where you feel forced to stand up to authority, where there's an injustice and you can't ignore it, and you're constantly having to say, well, wait a minute, no, what don't don't do that.
Yes,
don't punish that person. They did nothing wrong.
Right.
That kind of thing.
Right.
The person who's holding the phone and videotaping when the Karen goes off on someone who they shouldn't. And you're posting it and you're saying, look at this, this person. And
this is not how we behave.
Exactly. Exactly. So it might not be you standing up to authority, but it might be you standing up to the people who,
Yes.
Shining a light on the authority figures who are abusing their power.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
I'm thinking Assange at this point, but anyway.
Ooh, yeah, that's it. Yeah.
We don't have his chart at hand, but anyway. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. So, Moon Saturn.
Moon Saturn.
Ooh,
wow.
Saturn. Yeah.
Do you have this? No?
I do not. I hardly have any moon aspects, arguably none.
Saturn aspect.
Well, I mean, I have some Saturn ones, but moon.
Oh, I see.
I only have, my moon is conjunct.
Oh, right.
Sun,
interesting.
Widely. Yeah, that's about it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, Moon Saturn, Moon.
Yeah, so your emotional needs are in conflict, or possibly in lockstep with your need for structure and control and responsibility.
Right.
This could be a beautiful sign that you are mature and resilient, and that you naturally wield authority in an empathetic and compassionate way, which
sounds good.
Yeah, that would be a great expression of the trine, the sextile, and the conjunction. In the hard aspects, it could lead to a feeling of isolation, repression, pessimism, melancholy, feeling burdened with responsibility, feeling that you're
depressed.
Yeah, depression, feeling that the expectations on you from society or your parents or your job or whatever are too much to handle, that you feel isolated and put upon, and yeah. Yeah.
Tricky one.
Yeah, for sure. Not a comfortable one.
Yes. Well, how about the Saturn-Mercury aspects then?
Yeah.
What do we got there?
Well, I mean, I would think that this is a person who can communicate in a very authoritative way. This is someone who, when they speak, they tend to carry like maybe more weight to their words than they even believe.
Right.
This is someone who, when they speak, people stop and listen. And this may even come as a surprise to them, because they may just be,
Do you know anybody who's got a Mercury-Saturn aspect in their chart, Arwynne?
I might have is it a trine?
It's a sextile.
It's a sextile. Oh, that's a lovely one.
It is.
Yeah.
And I think that is true, exactly what you just said, that when you speak, people do listen because you articulate, and also when you're writing, people are sucked in because you're telling a good story. Sometimes a little scary story, but you're telling a good one.
Yeah. I mean, what's the best way to package a scary story is to make it compelling and
compelling. That's the word, compelling.
Make it feel important, Yeah.
And it's the sort of thing that people tend to think about afterwards too. So that's
awesome.
a good thing.
Yeah. I do remember a report card I had one time in I believe it was either philosophy. It was philosophy class, and they said, Arwynne doesn't speak up that much in class, but when she does, everyone stops to listen because she always has something incredibly valuable to drop on us. And I'm like, oh, wow.
And this is you. You've got this Mercury sextile Saturn, which is great.
Yeah.
Absolutely great.
Yeah. I don't like to speak up unless I do have something powerfully, important to say. But
yes, you're not an idle chitter-chatter person, are you? Just filling a gap in the conversation. Yeah.
I try not to just babble.
Yes. No, I know.
And maybe that's a Virgo thing too. It's like, well, no, actually, I think this might actually, this is funny. I'm just literally realizing this as we speak. I think Saturn, Mercury, when they're put together, it's like you have this feeling that when people are listening to you, you will be judged. So, right? So it had better be good.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. So maybe with the sextile, it tends to be something valuable, and you're like, oh, cool, I have dropped, pearls of wisdom on my listeners. But there's always this fear too that you will be thought frivolous, and so this the fear of not being taken seriously.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I definitely felt that when I was a younger girl.
When you wore a young woman's clothes.
A young warthog. Yeah.
And interestingly, I wonder here that frequently when you get the Saturn Mercury, they change their name. Now, I'm not quite sure if that has occurred, and you don't have to tell us if it did. But you get that to have a more favorable name. Yes, a more, dare I say, respectable name or a correct name.
Gosh, I don't know about that. I added some more letters and made it more complicated and harder to pronounce, for sure.
So you did change your name?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, my name has always been Arwynne. Let's not but I did change the spelling of it. So
you did?
I did.
Did you do this for numerological reasons?
I did not. No, but after I looked it up, I went through a phase where I was looking everyone's stuff up on numerology.
Numerology.
Yeah, that was one of my obsessions 20 years ago or something when I was first getting into all of this stuff again. And right. I threw everyone's names in there and I was like, oh, wow, this is cool. And but it does turn out that it's a bit better, my current
But why did you change it? Or would you like to share that with us?
I can, but it's not very Saturnian.
Okay then.
I believe I was 7. And for some reason, I just was like, and also back then, there were no, so my name is from Lord of the Rings, in case anyone is not aware of that. My name is Arwynne Evenstar. That's my actual middle name is Evenstar. So yes, she's Elrond's daughter, the inheritor.
Wow.
Of blah, blah, blah.
It's impressive. You got to lean into that, girl.
Character. It's a great character.
I can see it now, ArwynneEvenstar.com.
Yes, well, exactly. But of course, I'm spelling it differently, so that wouldn't work either. But
okay.
Interestingly, when I was 7, I was like, it sounded like a boy's name. So my teachers always, they couldn't pronounce it because whatever. That's the world we were living in the late 70s, early 80s, whatever. And so when I was 7, I asked my mother if I could change the spelling of it to Arwynne, because I said, isn't that more of the feminine spelling? And my mother, of course, being my mother, was like, yeah, okay, you can do what you want. And so I did. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah, that's Mercury. No, it suits you. I mean, but you frequently come across these things where they were called, whatever.
Yeah.
People change their names for many reasons.
And I just I changed the spelling because I liked it better. I thought it was fancier and kind of more flowy and flowery and feminine.
Yes,
kind of with a Y and 2 N's and an E at the end. It's it's nice, Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But okay, so if you have the hard aspect though, I'm thinking mental blocks, possibly learning disabilities, difficulty focusing, or hard to express yourself, situations that require you to be spontaneous, or maybe you don't like public speaking. Who does, right? But yeah, speaking your mind might be very difficult. There could be a difficulty in speaking confidently or expressing yourself in a written sense, or maybe you have moved somewhere where you're forced to speak in not your native language, and so there's a language barrier, and that's a constant barrier to being understood or to expressing yourself. So that would be what the hard aspects would say to me.
Yes. And this is because Mercury really is about language and how we express ourselves and how we get our thoughts out into the world, right?
For sure, yeah. I mean, you could say, too, that one of the hard aspects, especially like a square there's only the 2, a square opposition. But I would think that could also mean that maybe you find a way to express difficult truths that other people shy away from.
Hard conversations.
Yeah, exactly. So if you can master that square, especially after your Saturn return, if you can find a way to turn that square into I had this whole thing a
triangle.
Yeah, exactly. Turning it into a right triangle. Like all squares can be trines if you just make it a right triangle.
Right.
Yeah. But,
it's.
I mean, Saturn doesn't shy away from a challenge, and so if you do have a hard aspect between Mercury and Saturn, find out which is stronger in your chart. Mm-hmm. You can look at the all of that planetary complexes and things that we've discussed in the past, and lean into whichever is stronger. And I mean, now like there's ChatGPT, there's all these other things that can help you express yourself. So yeah.
Wow. Yeah. And if you need to change your name, just get on it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Legally, very easy.
There you go. Great. Okay, so how about Saturn-Venus aspects?
Yeah, I mean, this doesn't automatically sound like a comfortable aspect, but then again, Saturn and Venus do have kind of a lot in common. We've talked about this in the past because Libra is
Saturn's exaltation.
Yeah. So it might not automatically seem, it might be like, oh, love and responsibility, but that's marriage, right? Love and responsibility.
It brings endurance to love.
Yeah, which is
awesome. If we want to use that word rather, to say that it's an enduring love. Even when it's long gone and dead and she's married someone else, they still love. That enduring love continues.
Yikes.
I know. They pine.
Well, yeah, I mean, and this being serious about relationships is good if you're in that relationship currently, and then if those relationships break down and you can't accept it because you think that being in a sturdy and solid and long-term relationship is a factor of your being and that's necessary, then that might be difficult.
Yeah.
But it's important also, to have a serious approach to relationships and to be able to commit. That's obviously a great thing. And being able to express affection, which may also kind of be hindered if you have a harder aspect between Saturn and Venus, because you may feel the love, but then also have a difficulty in expressing
getting it out. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, but you'll be stable and reliable, and that's awesome. So, But with those hard aspects, I would think there would be a limitation in your ability to express or go after the love interest that you actually want. Yeah. And you might struggle with feeling comfortable in your skin, like in an alluring kind of, attractive sort of way. Like maybe you just constantly feel awkward or feel like restricted in your ability to come across to, the object of your love. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's sad, but try. It's always
keep trying. Yeah.
Yeah. And in the positive sense, this is definitely someone who is responsible in their relationships. And
yes. They won't cheat.
No. Let's hope.
You heard that here. No.
Yeah. But no, generally they do tend to be more
at a Coldplay concert either.
I was thinking that. Oh my God.
I know.
So funny. I mean, not for them, but yeah.
There you have it.
Yeah. But it's definitely the desire for a lasting and committed, responsible sort of relationship.
Yeah.
The pillars of society, those.
Yes, marriage and bringing up the cubs and all that jazz.
Yeah, totally. Aww.
Fun.
Yeah. I'm thinking of the Lion King.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right, then how about Saturn and Mars?
Yeah.
Now there's a combination.
Right. I mean, it's that fiery, determined energy, kind of.
It's the two bad boys coming together.
Yeah, exactly, and not necessarily in a sexy way that we might want.
No, it's the tough guys.
Yeah, the clash of like the desire for that martial energy versus the limitations of the man.
Yes,
and a constant push-pull between your desire to move forward and the restrictions that might prevent you from doing so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, if it's the conjunction, it might be that you are led to want to be an authority figure and someone who enforces the law, a policeman, or a woman, or a prison guard, or someone in government who is making the laws that prevent people from just being, doing their violent, thing.
Yes.
And or someone in the military. I mean, this is a very...
That would be a good place to put it.
Yeah, like a higher... I mean, the military careers that's a huge employer, obviously.
Yes, it's a good job, apparently.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously the opposition could be a tendency to procrastinate, this internalized, that could be someone who's constantly feeling like they've got the brake and the gas pedal both
at the same time. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like never able to kind of get going because they're overthinking things, or they're constantly thinking about what will happen if, or this person, is going to restrict me if I want to put forward my ideas, or they're constantly coming up against. And that's the projection too, right? The opposition is always when you're projecting one of those things onto someone else. So it's like, I have all these ideas, but this person always is getting in my way, or I can't do it because of this.
My father said this, and
the boss, the father, the government,
the boss,
whatever.
The government. Yeah. I could be a fabulous musician, but I've got to go to work.
Yeah, totally. And you may have a very strong work ethic, but it just might not always. You might not be putting your energies in the right direction. And that
causing conflict at work as well in that case.
Oh, yeah.
Stirring things up. Mm-hmm.
Totally stirring things up. Yeah. But you need to find a balance between that ambition and your action and your drive and then also the planning and practicality and discipline.
Right.
So that might always be a struggle for you. Even if it was a positive aspect, there would be that kind of like, but I want to do all this, but I can't because...
But you might have one in your chart, right?
What is it that I have? Is it a sextile again?
It's a sextile again. Yay!
Oh, sextile.
Go you. Saturn sextile Mars.
I love my sextiles.
Oh, Wells chart.
I really do, yeah.
It's...
I think we've talked about how very responsible I am.
You are.
Yeah.
I can rely on you.
You can.
You true. Absolutely. 6 o'clock on the dot. We're on.
I show up
I forgot. Oh, I'm not going to make it. Oh my God. There's none of that.
Yeah. I think in literally 2 years, one time I was like, I might be a little bit late, but I will be there.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely, you're better at it than I am, and I'm pretty good at being punctual and whatnot. But we have worked. I mean, look at tonight, right? We didn't even have to meet in the lobby because you were in the elevator.
That happens
frequently
often. Yeah.
Yes, because we're aware of where you're supposed to be and what you're supposed to do, what actions need to be taken.
Yeah.
And this has to come through that, let's take it as the Mars sextile the Saturn.
Yeah.
It's a great expression of that.
Yeah. That is true.
Good. Yeah. All right.
Aside from bragging about how responsible and
well,
what a great partner I am. I don't know what else to say about that one.
All right.
Yeah.
So let's move on then to Saturn, Jupiter.
Yeah, these are the I mean, this is like, some giant percentage of the solar system is taken up by these two planets.
Huge.
It's
huge.
Like most of the solar system is these two planets.
Yeah. So, of course, we know that at the conjunction, they call it the Great Conjunctions, don't they?
Yeah.
So every 20 years, Saturn can join Saturn. Jupiter can join Saturn every 20 years.
For sure. And if you want to go down some interesting rabbit hole, like back in, I think, 2000 it was, everyone was predicting that George W. Bush would have an assassination attempt because there was this, they called it the 20-year presidential death cycle, and it had gone back to literally Lincoln. Mm-hmm. Every president who was elected at the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction had either been assassinated or had an attempt that almost killed them. And the almost was Reagan, and that was he was elected in 1980. And if he hadn't, if it hadn't been for the marvels of modern medicine,
yes, he would have died.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, it was very touch and go.
Yeah,
but JFK, Lincoln. A bunch of them, literally every president that was elected on the the 0 year, which was like just what happened to 1860, 1900, blah blah blah. Going forward, 1960 was when Kennedy was elected, and all of them were either assassinated or almost assassanated in office, which is crazy. Wow. And then the pattern was broken by basically modern medicine and whatnot. And also just the absolute machine of the American government, like just not accepting all these assassinations anymore.
Yes.
I mean, if anyone was going to have been assassinated, it would have been George W. Bush, because he was not a very popular president for a while there. But yeah, it's an interesting, just a pattern that's like the undeniable pattern. So yeah, Jupiter, Saturn. I mean, this is where the tension between expansion and restriction comes to play. So these two are almost opposites in many ways.
Yes,
it's like the greater benefic and the greater malefic. Yeah.
It's the push-pull. It's the growth-contraction cycle, isn't it?
For sure. And if you can harness them for positive, if you have the trine or the sextile, or arguably the conjunction, this may be a person who can actually combine that discipline with that optimism, the tendency to
the best of both worlds.
The best of both worlds, to be a pillar of society, but yet also to push society forward and to bring great ideas and bountiful optimism and innovation and all these things, and the desire for expansion, but into a concrete reality. So that can be amazing. With the opposition and square, then those two things are always going to be kind of in a push-pull, like on, off, and you might not.
Well, one will dominate, I think, as well.
One will dominate, for sure. So it's a struggle of opposing forces, tradition versus. Yeah,
I don't have this at all. No.
Do I?
You've just got a sesquiquadrant quadrant, but we'll ignore that.
Yeah, we said we would not talk about this.
No, we won't mention it again. Ever.
Yeah. I mean, if we're doing this podcast years in advance, we may laugh because one day we will get around to it.
We will get around to it, but we're not there yet. There's so much else to talk about.
So much else. Yeah.
So much else to talk about. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Saturn, Uranus?
Saturn, Uranus.
Yeah. That's another.
There's the thing.
One. Yeah. I mean, this is another, we keep saying opposites, but this is tradition and responsibility meets innovation and rebellion.
Yeah. It's Uranus pushes back against the government. They're out there in the streets are rioting about things. And,
for the better of society or just for disruption.
Yes. Yeah. So it's interesting because they both rule Aquarius, right? Which is the rebel, the difficult,
right, and the humanitarian, but also technology. It's really
yes, because technology pushes the fronts, and yet people are saying, "Oh, we have to bring in a law about Bitcoin. We have to bring in a law about ChatGPT.
Right.
You have to," and they're still saying what Uranus has innovated. Saturn is saying, "No, we have to bring in a law. They can't be doing that.
They can't be doing that." But yet,
here we are.
Cat's out of the bag.
Yes, everyone's
Uranus is the cat's out of the bag planet.
Yes, that's true. And Saturn's running behind saying, "Well, how are we going to legislate this?" And
we can't just let everyone willy-nilly put in prompts and get a perfect essay.
Yes. Well, someone was telling me last week that these new doctors that are coming through university now are all just being trained by ChatGPT. So you better stay healthy because in 10 and 15 years' time, this is what the doctors are going to know, what ChatGPT told them. So there's a thought, right?
There is, yeah. I mean, it's interesting, though, because I remember I think it must have been 10 years ago, and this is obviously a very different AI from what ChatGPT is, but it was basically this thing about how doctors they're only so good as their instincts and their training, right? But if you have AI, which is like all of the training that's ever existed from all of the doctors that ever had their stuff put on paper, and it's inputted all of these papers and all of this training, then if you take the doctors plus the AI, it's almost infallible. Right. Just one, not great. Just, by not great, I mean like 93%, 97%. But if you put them together, it's like 99.999. So, the best possible thing is to have a combination there where you're not just relying on the ego of the doctor going, I've seen this before. I know what this is.
Yeah, it's going around. Yeah.
Right.
There's a bug.
Yeah. Well, and also, I mean, this is another example of which is way before what we're thinking of as AI, but the airplane industry, they used to rely on the pilot's knowledge. And then they had all of these GPS systems and all of these mechanized systems, and also all of these manuals that they would have to go through. Even if they think they know the process, they have a manual that they literally have to go through the step by step, just so that there's no fallibility. There's nothing that they can, and especially anytime there's a major crash, it's like, we a
checklist.
We know exactly what happened. So no one wants to be responsible for that. I mean, hundreds of people be dead in an instant on, whatever. And so now, even if they're, incredibly seasoned, pilots who have been doing it for 30 years, they still have to go through the checklist. And it's almost the same as AI coming in, because it's not relying on one human's expertise.
To it, Yes.
I see that as a very sort of Saturn Uranian thing. It's like, yes, technology, yes, expertise, but how about both at the same time? And then you have the best of both worlds. Mm-hmm. But, the oppositions and the squares will definitely highlight that conflict between the desire for stability and the potential for innovation and brilliance. And,
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Right.
Saturn, Neptune.
Saturn, Neptune.
We've talked about this one. I've talked at great length about this one. I've published articles about it. We are right now in the middle of
conjunction.
A conjunction.
Yes.
Yeah. There are so many things with Saturn, Neptune that, like the cycles that have to do with the rise and fall of communism, for example.
Yeah.
A lot of things to do with governments sort of rising and falling, dictators crumbling. And
to do, what it's to do with these damn walls that they built years ago, and they're taking them down. Yeah. They're breaking down the dam walls and re-allowing the rivers to do their thing to regenerate.
Dam walls, not just dam walls, but dam walls.
Yes, the dam walls. Not the building wall, the dam walls. So that they're now breaking down these dams and allowing the river to take its natural course and regreen what has become a desert.
Oh, I love it. Saturn, Neptune, regreening, rewilding.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yes, and the beavers, they're throwing a bunch of beavers, and before you know it, things are getting better. And it's an awareness. Honestly, I didn't know this 2 years ago, but I've been following along, and they're taking old dams down and allowing the river to take its course, which is, and then, the plants grow and the animals come and everything's better.
Yeah, I mean, there are some places where that's never going to happen. Like Las Vegas basically exists because of the Hoover Dam. And
yes, but that's so shallow, isn't it? Now the water's just
Lake Mead. I mean, last time I went to Vegas, like they say the water's fine to drink, but arguable. I felt sicker there than people talk about being in Mexico and you can't drink the water. I would say don't drink the water in Vegas.
Well, I know when I went to Rhodesia, we're talking a million years ago, and you can't drink the water out the tap there, and you just drink the beer. It's just that's what they say, you drink the beer because it's so hot. Yeah, it just basically evaporates hot.
Sure.
But
I mean, they're constantly finding what's sunken airplanes and bodies and everything in Lake Mead. Come on, and that's the water supply for Vegas. It's insane.
Yeah. But this business of and it's reducing, hopefully, climate change and all of those things that we've heard about for years, but suddenly it's becoming more important, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, one of the studies that I did on the Saturn-Neptune cycle, the conjunctions and oppositions, specifically, Hoover Dam was built during a conjunction.
Is that right?
Yeah, or an opposition. I can't remember. It was the 30s, so it was the opposition. And then the conjunction was in the 50s, and there's this kind of thing about floods. There's this control of water.
Yes.
And...
Who controls the water?
Who controls the water, exactly. And will water win or will structure win? It's very, very interesting. Yeah, but if it's in your chart, there's definitely a conflict, or possibly, you've harnessed this amazing opposition sort of between these two very different energies. And it's the desire for transcendence and and all of those Neptunian wonderful illusion, glamour, exploration, creativity.
The art, the music, all of that.
The art, the music, but then the structure and if you have the square opposition, that could also just lead to confusion, disillusionment.
Yes.
Dare we say, difficulty with reality.
Difficult.
But if you have the conjunction or a soft aspect, or the ability to somehow lean into one of them, if you do have that opposition or square, leaning into one of them, whichever is the more powerful, and bringing, beautiful things into concrete reality. Music, film, art.
I see this as the person who runs an art gallery, the business of art.
Yeah.
Or the business of running an orchestra.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. Or, anything to do with the film industry is really just bringing...
The studios.
Studios. Or, building skyscrapers. My God. We live in a beautiful city where it's not... The architecture here isn't the most creative, but we do have some amazing buildings that have come up recently.
Yes.
That they're just getting a little bit more creative. It's not, it's not like Dubai or Hong Kong or New York, but
all this stuff that was built in the 70s has all got that
brutalist, and the green glass. Oh God,
it's the cheap glass.
Yeah, the cheap glass that every building has to have.
Yes,
but yeah, there's a few that are getting more creative and interesting and twisty and kind of like cool. Yes. And I see that as very much a Neptune Saturn thing.
Yeah, and they've got these big plans to develop the Broadway corridor. They're going to put high rises all the way down there, but it's structured and it's gentrification and things, and making little conclaves where people want to live.
Yes, that Jane Jacobs, the walkable city, and all that stuff.
Yes,
very important.
Yeah. That's absolutely a good one. Yeah.
And also we're right on several waterways. We're on the English Bay. We're on False Creek. There's rivers going through, and
we can see water from our windows, right?
Both of you, both directions, north, south, east, west. I mean, we're almost we're in an inlet. It's not an island. It's it's not like Manhattan, but it is actually a little like Manhattan, Vancouver. Just shorter. Yes. Yeah. But I mean, most major cities, especially in North America, are built on some sort of waterway. Yeah. For very obvious, historical reasons. Yeah. So there's definitely a Saturn Neptune thing about big cities. I think so. It's always about. I mean, even if you're not on a waterway, you have to bring water in, like as we were saying in Las Vegas.
Well, most cities are built on rivers anyway. Aren't they?
You needed fresh water if you were going to build. I mean, people need water. People need to drink water.
And this river district is developing into a beautiful place to live, which wasn't there 10 years ago. And they're building it all the way down the Fraser River, which is amazing what they can do. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So Saturn Neptune, highly recommend.
Yes, it's a good one.
We love the combination.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
And then moving on, Saturn Pluto. Now we're talking.
Yeah, now we are talking.
Now we're talking.
This is intense. This is transformation. This is revolution.
It's not easy.
No. The big event historically that I remember being such a big Saturn Pluto thing was 9/11.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the opposition.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. That was that's what happens when Saturn Pluto unexpectedly, in quotes, just comes and smacks down. Yeah. Nope, you cannot assume anything. You cannot continue the way you've been. This is,
things have changed.
Everything changed, right? Yes. That's what everyone says. Everything changed after that. Well, this is Saturn Pluto. This is the two heavy hitters of the zodiac coming together, and not zodiac, solar system. Yes. Crisis.
Yes.
Transformation and adaptation.
Yes.
Friction. Yeah. Destruction. What is that called? Creative destruction.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Are you saying mainly the opposition there? Is that what we're saying?
That's the conjunction and the opposition.
Okay.
Creative destruction for sure. It's the potential for intense transformation in a positive way.
Yes.
But also just a constant feeling of conflict if it's in your chart. Yes. Wow. And I don't have those historical tables, but in my hands right now. But I'm thinking if you do have one of the hard aspects in your chart, depending on when those happened historically, I have a Saturn Pluto actually.
You do?
Yeah. So I think it was Les Green who said that people who are born with this. I think I have the square. Do I have the square?
You have a square.
Yeah. It's this constant awareness of the impermanence of structures.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Maybe we like horror movies and zombie themes because we can just so easily imagine society crumbling and then you have to fend for yourself, and maybe a mistrust of institutions because we've seen them fail so many times in history, and it's sort of baked into our DNA. We just think
right. Yeah. And you do challenge it. You do, don't you? Yeah. In your writing, everything you're looking at these issues with that square.
It's they're fascinating to me, but also there's this awareness of like, how long does this kind of institution generally last? Does it last 30 years? Does it last 2 years?
Right.
There's all these just
how stability. Where does it? Yeah.
You have to make your own stability. If you have a difficult aspect between Saturn and Pluto, you have to have a strong foundation internally, because you do not believe that structure comes from the outside.
And I think you do, actually. Yeah.
It's like we're always walking on a suspension bridge and thinking, this is dodgy, but
it could end any moment.
Exactly.
Yes.
You have an internal sense of balance. Otherwise, you will be just constantly, you'll be ranting. You'll be, covering things with tinfoil and ranting to anyone who will listen.
Wow. Well, I actually have the trine here with the trine.
How does the trine feel?
I don't actually feel it. It's, it's not a problem.
Yeah. I mean, I think mine is one of my closest aspects, right? It's very...
2 degrees. Yeah, very tight.
Yeah.
I've just got the trine between Saturn and Pluto, and it's just... Those 2 planets, for me, are not really a big deal. I've got other planets that are more in my face, if you will. Yeah. So, but, I mean, I buy the law.
Yeah.
And if I didn't, I wouldn't tell you anyway. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly.
I can't remember who I'm quoting, but there was something about I'll abide the law if it's convenient and it doesn't put me out too much.
Exactly.
And if I agree with it, and if no one's getting hurt.
But I've been known to speed and park in a wrong bay, and this is the sort of thing I do that's not right.
Yeah.
But in general, of course.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's not. I don't see it as an issue.
Yeah.
But maybe other people do. But it's just not one of the big things in my chart. But even though the aspect is there, because it's a trine, it's not something I'm having to attend to every day.
Right.
Whereas other things I have to attend to all the time. So that is not one of them.
Yeah.
So anyway, okay. This has been great. We've been talking about Saturn and aspects to Saturn in your natal chart. We've gone through all of the Ptolemaic aspects, and we've spoken about all the different planets when making these aspects in a general tone. Of course, you need to look at your chart. You need to find out what aspects is Saturn having, because it will have a couple probably, but it's not going to have all of them, and just explore what Saturn means in your chart through the aspects, I think. Yeah. So this is great. If you found value in this episode, please do consider sharing it with anybody who'd be interested. Make sure you're getting our newsletter, and you can sign up at starzology.com/newsletter. And additionally, make sure you're getting Arwynne's newsletter, and you can find Arwynne at...
You can find me at mspink.net. That's mspink.net. And I send out a weekly newsletter every Saturday, and I am talking about goddesses and books and movies and nostalgia and some personal stories, etc.
Yeah, it's a great read. Yeah.
Thanks.
So, well, this has been great. And as I say, we've been working through our different planets and their aspects. And I'm sure this is part of a series. We'll be doing more of these particular types of episodes in the future. Yeah. So to all our listeners, thank you so much for listening. And we'll see you next time.
See you next time.